Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Welcome back, everyone, to the end of Season 5 of Cosmic Crit. This is your GM Patrick here, and joining me this week to talk turkey are my 3 friends and your players. Oh, it's getting smaller every time. Hey, everyone, how are you folks doing tonight?
Patrick,
pretty good.
You sometimes lead in with when episodes are coming out. This isn't coming out in November, is it?
No, why?
Talk turkey. I know it's a phrase. I'm being silly.
Oh boy.
No, this is coming out like next week. You guys are in Dragon Con, I think, right now, and this is going on.
Yeah, so if you somehow have a time machine and hear this before we're there, come and say, hey, we'll be there.
Do you have a time machine? And then, believe it or not, when this episode comes out, if you're listening to it the week it comes out, next week is CritterCon 8, which we're going to be in double digits before too long, but 8, which is pretty intense, pretty wild. And yeah, we are down both Jabert and Tyler. And I said it was okay for them to miss this for a plethora of reasons. They're traveling and life has got in the way, to say the least. But one thing with moving into this new show, this new podcast that we're going to do is, want to be a little more loosey-goosey. Maybe, someone can't play one week and then just 5 people instead of 6 people play. Maybe that happens. I don't know. We shall see. But
don't give us that option. You remember Final Fantasy.
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like, it's more important that we get together and we have a good time. And that's no more true than it is this week, because literally 2 weeks ago, I think, is when we finished Season 5 of Cosmic Crit. And we've officially and finally finished Starfinder First Edition, never to return, at least to the rule set. And I figured this week we would get together to chat about it and allow you guys asking questions that you may have, your burning Starfinder First Edition questions or Season 5 questions. Are you guys ready to get into the chat? This is a little denouement, a little curtain call for both. Well, everything we're doing in Cosmic
we
Crit
probably
so
should have
far.
had the opportunity. We probably should have asked the Discord or whatever if they had any questions for us at the end of the book to prep.
We could right now.
Folks can come in the Discord whenever they want and ask us those questions in the Ask the Cast section, episode spoilers, if you are worried about spoilers. But yeah, I'm more interested to talk to you guys. You guys don't talk on the Discord as much.
All right.
I talk on the Discord every day. What are you talking about?
About the podcast is what I'm saying. You talk about some nerd stuff.
I was like, I am very vocal on the Discord.
Yeah, so, okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What is an attack of opportunity?
Oh,
it did take me 2.5 years to understand the rules.
Well,
only 2.5 miles.
That's understandable when you don't play melee characters.
Sure.
routinely.
The year and a half I played my Season 1 character, who, outside of Sprouts Marlowe, every time I've created a character since Arabia, I've just, after the second episode of playing that character, I'm just, steeped with the regret. 3 episodes into playing Redacted, I absolutely hated Redacted.
Yeah,
except when I got to run people over, that was the best part of the entire season for me.
Just 97 episodes of hatred for a character. Well, let's first start by talking. Did you guys have a good time with the adventure path? Did you like what we kind of hyped up as being Space Kingmaker? You guys setting up your own colony and exploring an unexplored planet.
Do you want the honest answer?
No, lie to me, please. I didn't write the book. I mean, I'm just GM.
I've been pretty vocal, I think, on the Discord and to everyone else, how I was not as taken with this particular adventure path, which I think also really curbed my enthusiasm and kind of creativity for my character. I just like one of my main drives every week is to play with my friends. Like seeing you guys every week and like having designated hangout time that we record is like the best part of this show for me. It always will be, is having fun with you guys. But I will say this adventure path, I struggled a lot. I kind of found it a little boring, and that's not really any fault of yours or even the writers. It's not a type of adventure that I'm extremely interested in playing.
Yeah, I will add to that I don't think that it was particularly good for an audio podcast.
Yeah, I agree.
All the stuff at the beginning of like building a community or whatever. First of all, I don't think that our party was built with that in mind. That's on us, right?
Yeah.
And also, I just don't think that I didn't listen to it, so I can't say. Maybe somebody out there who actually did listen to it as just an audience member can speak to this, but it didn't feel engaging to me as a player. So I suspect it was even less so for audio only.
Don't hold back, Drew. Don't hold back.
I think it was also mostly that outside of Patrick, Tyler was the only person on the show who really understood the rules of how to actually do the community building portion, because we did it infrequently enough that I definitely forgot how to do it nearly every time. And I wonder, Patrick, is this something that you clocked and dialed back some of the community building stuff as we went forward in the AP?
Well, we haven't done it in like 3 books. So yeah, when you guys like do not read the rules, do not engage with the rules, I'm not going to use the rules. So.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right. Oh, they're really checked out on this part, except for Tyler.
Yeah, we haven't done like, regular starship combat either. And that only took.
Well, once they made Starship Combat more storytelling, that was a little bit more fun, but I still think it wasn't quite where it needed to be. Like it was a step forward for sure. It was so much better than it was when we first started the game. That first time we ever did Starship Combat was a 4-hour recording session, and like everyone was frayed by the end of it. At least now we're like, all right, this is what we're doing this week.
Well, I will say thank you, Patrick, for reading your party and modifying things accordingly, because I definitely enjoyed the spaceship combat with the rare occurrence that it happened in the narrative mode much more than in seasons past where we had to use actual rules.
Well, and I did before the narrative Starship Combat rules had come out, I think in book 2 or 3.
Yeah, it came out during this run, right?
Yeah, there was a Starship Combat while you guys were on the moon, which I cut because instead of taking a starship to the moon, I had you guys magically teleport there, through Iadira. So just didn't make sense for there to be a Starship Combat.
Really, why don't people just teleport all the time in this universe, right? Like, why have spaceships at all when we can teleport?
There isn't really like reliable teleportation. There's like expensive techno magic that will do it, but
Raimi can do it.
Forgive me, listeners. My wife doesn't like Star Trek as much as I do, and doesn't know the firm rules about teleportation.
I do like Star Trek as much as you do, and I also agree with Rebecca.
We're not talking about Star Trek. We're talking about Starfinder. It just seems like there's magic. I don't know.
I'm ironically wearing a shirt that says spaceships on it.
That's a fun shirt.
But not to say that this entire run was like a snooze fest or it was bad or anything like that, but the general gist of the adventure, it was tougher for me to stay engaged. Part of that is on me for creating such a doofus of a character, but at the same time, I've created characters that were kind of started off as a gag before that I really just got into, like Sprouts, I loved Sprouts. And I think our season 1, we've said this multiple times on the podcast, but I feel like our season 1 characters and our season 3 characters are the ones that we connected most with. Even season 4, I was kind of disconnected from Raimi, except when I was doing shenanigans with Drew. But there was a lot of stuff where I was I'm still not, I don't know. It's season 1 and 3 are kind of magic for me. And 2 and 4 and 5, I feel like I don't know. I don't know what it is, because I liked Against the Aeon Throne. And
I still think that might be my favorite season that we played.
It was fun. Talara was fun to play as well.
It was at least fun to play.
Well, I was going to say with this, and I'm going to speak for myself here, which is all I can do, but it seemed to me like going into season 5, we did not speak to each other. It was like a total surprise to everyone who everyone was going to be playing. And as a result, we really had nothing to play off of each other. Like, we didn't have any pre-built or preconceived notions of how we might be connected or how we might interact or how, and I
it was kind of on purpose. You guys
totally recognize that it was on purpose, but it also, as someone who is not good at improv and building things in the moment, and I'm not a trained, actor in that way, like I really struggled with that because I didn't have. Why are you doing that?
You
mean
because
I was
a
theater major?
And you
I was a stage manager. Thank you very much. But
not an improv, Drew.
I feel like I really benefit from having some quiet time to contemplate my character and her space in the world of the game. And I didn't really get that before the game started. And by the time it started, it was like I don't know. It just kind of felt like there was nothing I could do to slow down the train, and especially given the nature of this adventure path, it was especially challenging for that reason because we weren't built as a party, as a cohesive party that, weighed out each other's strengths and weaknesses. It was just kind of randos that didn't like each other and had no interest in connecting with each other and being asked to create a thriving village.
We all created loners who wanted to have nothing to do with each other. It is so
exactly.
Funny.
Yeah.
Not Jabert.
Jabert tends to play that kind of character.
Well, let's talk about if you didn't like your characters, did you guys like your classes? Now, Rebecca, you did switch up your class, so I think we have the answer. But did you like Alindra as operative?
That's not her name. Asher.
Sorry, Asher and
Sky.
I've been thinking about all the seasons today.
Yeah, switching to operative was definitely a step in the right direction, but it was also easy mode, and I recognize that. I totally recognize that, but I was really, really having a hard time with Vanguard and making it work, and I had a vision going in that just wasn't working out, and I felt worthless 90% of the time, especially with the way that this started and the nature of the adventure path in that first book. Especially, it was like I feel like my character has nothing to contribute here, and at least as an operative I had skills that I could use that were useful outside of combat.
Rebecca, I felt very similar when I played Vanguard. I felt like it was just kind of I felt stuck in the mud half the time, which is not completely how I felt with a mechanic. I mean, I definitely, boxed myself in by making myself a vehicle mechanic so I could only do certain things sometimes, which is why if I had the option to hop in the car and run something over, I did, because it's the only time I could do anything. Because otherwise I was just shooting a gun, but without any of the skills of an operative. And there were some class bonuses that were kind of interesting and added some flavor to it, but I still feel like the mechanic as I played them, and maybe the class itself, because I know that typically it's like with a drone, right? Like
there's a couple of different versions
prototype
of mechanic.
The class felt a little half baked to me.
Yeah, well, you had an alternative version of the class I took up a lot of. I
stated at the beginning of this that I understand that I had a different thing, but I still read all of the rules. For every time I had to level up, I still had to read all that stuff. So, I don't know. Having played, some other classes, I've certainly had way more fun with Technomancer and Operative.
Drew, what did you think of Zilix?
I loved my nanosite. It may not seem that way because it may seem like I'd never had a consistent voice for the character and all of that until really not even the end. But actually playing the nanosite I thought was very, very interesting, especially as you got deeper into the stuff that it could do. And I was flying, I was bringing people back to life, I was doing all sorts of cool stuff, and it was awesome.
It felt very, towards the end when you had so many options, very Gish like. It felt like you could be in melee combat, you could be ranged, you could be bringing people bodies back from the dead for some reason.
Creating zombies. It was awesome.
Creating zombies of the main bad guy.
Patrick, when did we have the chat with the Paizo folks about 2E when I was asking them different questions and stuff? Was that during this season or was that during season 4? You're talking about a chat with Jenny Jerzabski or someone? It was you, me,
year?
It was you, me, Jabert, and Seth, I think.
It was probably like 8 or 9 months ago, but why you bring it up? Oh,
because, I had brought up a lot of, questions I had about how they were thinking about classes going forward, because I know in 2E, things are supposedly very different. Out of everyone, I have not played 2E at all. So going into
you technically have, but not a lot.
No, but going into Cosmic Crit TNG, I am playing this. This is kind of like a first time for me, so I'm kind of excited to really dive.
You didn't do any of the play tests with us?
Very small amount.
No, I was supposed to take Drew's place, and then life happened to everyone.
Oh, that's still upcoming, but I think people will be listening to that potentially on the Patreon first. But yeah, it's. Second edition is very different. We'll talk about that later on or some other time. But
what I was gonna,
you liked Nanosite, Drew?
I did. I liked the Nanosite a lot. Honestly, the real only fault with what I put together is, and this played out a little bit when the reveal of Tyler's character came about. I had a whole great, awesome character concept that Patrick was like, maybe do something else, only to learn that that's because Tyler was already doing that. And I didn't know it at the time. But
so, I feel bad Tyler's not here to reveal it, but I think he actually pitched this concept for season 3 before he landed on doing a Solarian. So yeah, he wanted to do something like this for a while. And I forget if you pitched something very similar. Did you pitch a shapeshifter?
Yeah, I did. I pitched a shapeshifter that was going to. It was a nanosite shapeshifter that was going to have been like an experiment that was going to be some assassin weapon. But
I had to let Drew down without telling him someone else was playing that. So I was like, "What a dumb idea, Drew!" I just negged him completely. I was like, "You should do lizard." Nanosite or something.
Yeah. I mean, really, that's a good idea, though. I can see why a nanosite would, and a shapeshifter would be an interesting character.
They seem like they would go hand in hand. But as a result, I was okay with my concept, and I do like Zilix as a character. I never fully connected with him on a level, and part of that I think is him being my second idea, and part of it I think is just, and I think this is kind of true for all of us as we got into this season, is we kind of started getting a little very broad and very detailed with our character backstories and histories and things like that in a way that didn't really, well, except for Miles, whose character didn't even have a name.
Well, except that Miles refused to let us use pronouns when referring to his character. So, I mean, nothing against pronouns, but
I'm gonna make it hard for myself and everyone else.
But that's something that, especially as we move into the 2.0 version of this show, the second run of this show, I am aiming for this for my next character, and I'm sure we'll record and release some stuff about that in the coming weeks and months. I'm kind of trying to simplify things, because I think that's really where it came down to Knack is still my favorite character that we've played. Again, partially because it was the first one, but also I felt more connected to his backstory, because his backstory is pretty simple. And as the characters went on, they got more intricate and they got more things, and it became too much for me to really I've got to try to stay in character and make a choice, but that choice is not that interesting when it comes to all this other stuff that's going on. And I think that's really where that's on me. That's not the AP's fault. Yeah. That's just me building a character that didn't quite fit, despite the fact that I do like the guy. And I think Ixtangi are a cool ancestry, and I think they're really cool looking. I didn't get to use my tail as much as I wanted to, but I thought about it a lot.
for me, like I had initially planned, and I told Patrick this, and I begged him to let me do this. I had planned from the get-go for Redacted to be a villain. Like, and then when Patrick said there was a mole amongst you, I'm like, okay, he's creating the window. And
you were
I
the
was
mole.
so excited. No, but like I actively as a player character wanted to like, be the bad guy. Because I think Tyler did this in our Final Fantasy game, and he was having such a fun time with it. I was like, I want to do that at some point. And so when it came to creating Redacted, I'm like, okay, this is the perfect character to like just create a bad guy who at one point is just going to be like against the party. And I thought it'd be super, super fun. And Patrick refused to let me do it. And I was so mad at him.
I mean, to be fair, you were kind of the bad guy, even if you weren't.
I know that, but it's only because it's only because I forced it to happen.
Hey, there's new characters to be made for.
Well, yeah, but
the next series. Go ahead.
The character I'm making now is not that character. Aww. So, but I mean, there are so many aspects of Redacted that I thought could be fun in another adventure path. Also, not in a let's build a community. And I was like, oh, I'm hosed.
You with the car is the same thing as Win with those tiny hallways in season 2.
I know. I was like, nothing was better than playing a 16-inch plant. Like, I didn't have to go through the death march. I could fit through anything. People missed me all the time because I was so small. Like,
you just rode on Drew's shoulder most of the time.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone complains about the death march. It was so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could talk a little bit about the story here, some of the story changes. I did sub out the planet that we played on. It was a pretty generic space world, Waydana 3, that because I knew this was going to be kind of a climax to our first, Cosmic Crit story. This is probably going to be the last first edition story that we played. I wanted something to make it more of a climax, give a little bit of a mystery, and to kind of tie it into the Starfinder's mystery of like what happened to Galarion. Did you guys enjoy the main setting, despite it being ultimately a fictitious facsimile?
That is an element that I really, really enjoyed, but this is coming from someone who was playing DMRNC at the time that we I think started this, right? So like Tyler and Jabert and I were all like, oh my gosh, and Miles and Drew were like, okay,
yeah. I remember
we're planning out next week's More You Nerd. That's what we're doing.
I remember one moment by the time that we got to Galarian World, the theme park, and this was way later in the campaign, but we were walking around the theme park and seeing the like people in costumes walking around, and I don't remember which one it was. Forgive me, Pathfinder diehards, but a character showed up that Jabert recognized and was just like, "Oh my god, it's this character!" And we went crazy about it.
Well, it's funny. It's like
Drew. Now I know how people feel when we talk about Star Trek.
Yeah, I get it. Look, I know.
Well, it's funny. It's like if you actually went to Disney World with someone that had never seen a Disney cartoon before, and it's like, why are you hugging that rat? That rat costume person. That dog looks stupid. That looks like a cow. What's going on? Yeah. So
on Goofy.
Yes, that was also added in by me, was having a second Galarian world, a theme park in his world, just to make it even sillier.
Patrick, I think what I'm discovering is my favorite parts of this campaign were things that you added. So congratulations.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the point of Kingmaker and why it was a great AP is it is a very, very basic Pathfinder adventure where you are set up to rule a kingdom that you create. So you can really add in and make the kingdom be whatever you want it to be. And I think it's the same way with Viridian. Not that you guys were going to make like an evil society, but you get to make the decisions of like, what allies do you want to do business with? And like, how do you want to deal with the other colonies and things like that? And then towards that end, you can also, as a GM for this campaign, add in a lot of fun side quests or other things. Obviously we also we brought back the season 3 characters to kind of finish out their story arc and killing the brood queen of the swarm. Season 1 characters came back in singles, like by themselves for a whole bunch of small adventures. And then it was always my intention to have another level 20 fight with them at the end.
Which is like one of my favorite parts was playing our season 1 characters.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Those 2 episodes there. I brought back Win, and I just couldn't really bring back everyone else from season 2 for a number of reasons. We already had kind of and some other season 2 stuff in season 4.
As kinda in this run.
He was in season 4, right?
Oh, was that in season 4? Man.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's story elements there that were brought up, but yeah, I always knew, because there actually was Swarm in this AP, that I would want to tie it together a little bit. And yeah, it just made sense that I like the idea of the season 1 crew coming back and facing a big threat, but they were not equipped to deal with the Misaxanoi at the end of this campaign. They had to rely on your guys' new characters to solve the mystery. And yeah, I can't believe you got it. It was just a ukulele being shoved into a stone plinth. That's all it took.
I will say, I did think that Rebecca's character Talara was going to have a bigger part in this, with the kind of post-credit sequence of her working with Xantos Lochwort. I thought that was going to be building to like a big story point when you brought everything together.
Wait. Are you talking about Asher and Sky or Talara? Talara from season 2?
Yeah, there was a scene after either the end of the season of season 2 or something where like Patrick had some narrative moment that Talara was elsewhere working with Xantos Lochwort.
I think you're thinking of
Zinnia.
That was Zinnia. It was also Tyler's character from season 2.
Nikithi.
Well, I know Nikithi was working.
Worked,
I thought someone approached Rebecca's season 2 character and they were working.
I want to say it was Zinnia from season 3, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think they're just too many.
I mean, Zinnia was the scientist. It wouldn't really make sense.
That's right. That's right. Because I think Talara was a little bit more of had a harder edge to her from the get go. But I think you're right. It was Zinnia.
I still love season 2 characters so much, but I think that's my only great failing is I left those characters very open ended, because I was like, I never know if we were wanting to go back and do the horror AP, because they would be obviously like the best suited to jump into Signal of Screams, but we will not be doing that.
I mean, really,
AP.
They were probably very well put together for a horror style AP. I mean, we've got a tiefling, and
I'm not gonna lie, I never say never, because I have already converted one Pathfinder first edition AP into Pathfinder second edition. So that is possibility, but I'm much more excited about playing the Starfinder second edition APs, which they just announced this last week.
Don't sound familiar at all.
Hardcovers for both Pathfinder and Starfinder going forward. There's not going to be any paperback AP volumes. They're just going to print all 3 of the Adventure Path volumes in one hardcover.
How do you have a hardcover PDF?
Well, it's nice because I don't have to wait 3 months for 3 volumes to come out to be able to like plan. Like as soon as it comes out, I'll be like, okay, I know how this story ends, as opposed to how the first season of the show.
Oh, like they're all being released at the same time.
In a hardcover. So yes, it's the equivalent of 3 volumes. So the way I'm guessing both Pathfinder and Starfinder can potentially work is, at least they've said Pathfinder is going to be like 9 to 10 levels per book per hardcover. And they've already announced, I think in 2026, going into 2027, that their 2 volumes that they're going to do of hardcovers are going to be The War Between Cheliax and Andoria, which is basically the good slavery hating people, and then the demonic, the enemies in our Pathfinder campaign, Rebecca, the Cheliacs who worship devils and use slavery.
I'm all too familiar.
The war between those two countries is going to be like the first hardcover, and it's going to be like levels 1 through 10, and then there's going to be 11 through 20 volume that continues the war. So it's like a big story thing that they're doing, and they'll probably do something similar with Starfinder. Let's finish up talking about Horizons of the Vast and move on to just a little postmortem on Starfinder First Edition. I know Rebecca is ready to get on to Starfinder 2E. I'm very interested to hear Drew and Miles, your guys' thoughts. You know, this is the end of us playing Starfinder First Edition. We've played this game for 8 years now. What did you guys like about First Edition Starfinder? Did you have, something that you're going to miss or something that you think it did very well?
I just always loved the idea, because again, I'm a sci-fi person more than a fantasy person, and science fantasy kind of factors into that. And I just loved that this world could have spaceships and magic powers and cool aliens and cool different cities and vistas and all sorts of stuff. Like it to me just really worked. I also like the stamina system. I know that seems weird as we kind of move. I know that SF2E has a sort of tweaked stamina system that you can use.
It's an alternative rule that's in Pathfinder 2E, and we can use it if you guys want.
I mean, well, I'll leave that up to the to the rabble. But I liked just the vibe that Starfinder put out. I liked, and I again, we've talked about how I'm not super versed in Pathfinder stuff, and I know that there is a lot of stuff for this all the Paizo books and Paizo properties that comes out in this game. But I don't know. I just think it's neat.
Miles, what are your final thoughts on Starfinder First Edition?
This was probably, outside of playing the Final Fantasy homebrew game with you guys, this is the first like legit long-term tabletop RPG that I ever played. And like Drew, I do love me some science fiction, and probably do prefer it a lot of times to the traditional kind of fantasy setting. And I did enjoy a lot of the world building that Paizo did. I liked Absalom a lot. I liked a lot of the kind of worlds that featured heavily. I thought that, especially like what were the undead called?
Eoxians.
The Eoxians. I liked Eox a lot. And especially...
I hope you do. Our next AP is going to have a lot of Eox.
Yeah, like I said, for a lot of what you told me, the summary of the AP sounded very familiar. But I did enjoy... I enjoyed a lot of the world building, and I thought they had a lot of great storytellers. I think for the most part, a lot of our APs did have very good stories. And whether or not we succeeded in telling those is always, up to us. But I did enjoy that. I did enjoy the attempt. I think the classes were still a little, I don't know, not quite where I would have had them. I don't think, but I did like the attempt at a varied class system. I liked the idea of starship combat, not necessarily the execution of starship combat.
I mean, we could have a whole hour-long conversation about starship combat's foibles.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm just going through there's a lot about Starfinder 1 that I really did enjoy. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I did like the stamina system. I did not love and I know this is not just a Paizo Pathfinder or Pathfinder Starfinder thing, but I'm not in love with spells per day. it's
well, those aren't going away, my friend.
I know. I found some of it. I found the early levels, and this is my biggest problem. I found the very early levels of Starfinder consistently limiting in a way that made it kind of like, well, why are we playing this? Because everyone feels the same until you hit a certain level. And
this is one thing I will say about this most recent AP. We were going back to town and sleeping overnight so much that I felt like maybe that allowed me to go a little wilder with what I was trying to do with Zilix,
Resolve
because
points.
I knew that once this fight's over, we're just gonna go take a nap and everybody's gonna have all their points back.
Yeah, but I mean, especially for like a large large release sci-fi RPG, I thought it was a pretty valiant effort. I'll definitely say that.
For first edition, you all have played, I think you've all played 4 different classes.
I don't know if Rebecca counts with that.
Well, technically, she did. Do you have a favorite class over the course of the first 5 seasons?
Solarian.
Yeah,
Definitely.
what a surprise.
Yeah.
I had a blast playing a Technomancer just because I thought the spells were pretty varied and a lot of fun. And operative, come on. I mean, playing a skill monkey that basically can do everything is pretty great.
Which that is one thing I'll say about SF1E. The balance of some things was not always the best.
Absolutely unbalanced, 100%.
Because I loved playing an envoy. I thought envoys were a great idea. I mean, they're basically space bards. It's awesome. They're the fast talkers. They're kind of the Han Solos of the Starfinder universe. At least that's how I always thought about them. But when you actually get into combat and you're level 20 and you're doing 2d6 damage because you're using a hand cannon or a handgun, and everybody else is using just crazy other weapons because that's just how the class plays. I don't know. It works in a longer campaign. If I was playing, Starfinder Society, honestly, I probably would have bounced off of an envoy so much because I would have just felt like I was kind of useless because my damage numbers weren't up there. And I do see that they are attempting to rectify a lot of that stuff in SF2E based on what we've played. But
Operative is no longer the skill monkey. I guess Envoy is kind of more that role. And I mean, almost all of second edition in general, I feel like it's so much more balanced. So I don't think we'll have like wide gaps in like kind of skill discrepancies. Part of that is you don't have points to put into skills any longer. If you're trained in something, it goes up 1 every level. It goes up corresponding with your level. So you just get better as your character levels up, which is nice.
Can I just say that something I think I will miss temporarily, because I think this is a temporary problem, but temporarily I will miss having the wide breadth of ancestries or races or whatever in Starfinder 2 or 1E compared to 2E, because
I gotta say, I agree with you there. It's one of the things I love the most about first edition is a ancestry, a race is a single page in first edition, and just allow them to print like sometimes 2 in just the back matter of AP volumes. So year they're putting out like 20 to 30 new ancestries, sometimes.
My season 3 character came from one of those back pages. A Delta 7 came from just the...
I mean, so did my season 5 character. In a way, it was like, I felt like I was mining for gold. It was like I was searching through the ancestries and like what their features were and what can I pull from, as inspiration. It was another source of inspiration beyond just class and, the normal stuff that you get.
I was the same.
There was just such a diversity in the kinds of ancestries that were available. So
I thought the same way when Pathfinder 2nd edition came out. I was just like, there's just so few ancestries to play at the start of the game. They already had plans, of course, to put out the player's guide and the second player's guide, which added a whole bunch more, but they really were dedicated to adding in ancestries in a similar vein with all their hardcover book releases and things like that. So we got there eventually, but I feel like even after just 2 or 3 years, there was a healthy amount, despite the ancestries for second edition being like 5 to 6 pages. That being said, I do like, and this is something that's great, that they're combined systems now. I do like that you can play any Pathfinder ancestry in Starfinder 2nd edition. So you've got kind of like a padded out roster. But I will say, we've already talked about making characters in 2nd edition here. I was surprised how many, like before the game came out, ancestries there was actually a whole bunch in the Starfinder Society. There were some that are going to be coming out in this first AP volume. And yeah, there's just more than I thought was going to be out, because I think they had only had 10 in the new Starfinder 2e Player's Guide. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any in the next two hardcover releases, the GM Core and the Alien Core. I can say that because I am an author of the Alien Core book, and I don't think Ancestries are in there, but I don't know. That's coming out in a couple months, so.
Spoilers.
But yeah, I agree with you, Rebecca. Totally. That is, you can just make such weird little goofy alien guys when it's just one page, but I don't think they're going to convert every Starfinder first edition alien race into a Starfinder 2e ancestry. I mean, maybe
it would
the
be
game
really cool if they'd provided like a guide, though, of like if you wanted to homebrew this race into an ancestry in 2e, what would be the formula that you would apply? I mean, not just mathematically, but like what would you want to add, you know?
And a lot of games do that when they go from 1e to 2e, like Star Trek Adventures that we played a bit on. I think that releases Patreon content mostly, but they have Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition now, and they have a whole guide of how to convert 1e content to 2e content. Granted, it's a bit easier with that, where it's not quite as numbers reliant on a lot of things that, you know, these games are. But
yeah, I mean, it's similar in 2nd edition. You've got your ability score modifications, although I should mention, as you guys are getting ready to make your first Starfinder 2e characters, in Pathfinder 2nd edition revised, there's now a rule that you can completely ignore all the ability scores that are listed in a ancestries listing, and instead pretend that like they're human and just pick 2 boosts of any stats. Any 2 boosts. Okay. Yeah.
Are you going to allow us to do that, or are you going to keep us locked in since well, that's a conversation for another day.
I'll say there's no other way, I think, really, to get an int of 8, or I guess the new edition would be int of -1. But yeah, that's just a good general rule, and it doesn't really break anything, right? To change it around. But yeah, just a good general rule to think about.
Part of me did kind of want to bring like Sprouts into 2e, just because
there's Leshies.
I love that guy so much.
I mean,
Leshies are little plant people.
Listeners, we did have a conversation about, as a gag, building our season 1 characters in 2e and playing a little bit with that style. We won't do it unless a lot of people ask for it.
No, we won't do it. I don't care if you ask for it.
Yeah, no, that will be series 20 when the season 1 crew is de-aged, a la Dragon Ball Super X, whatever the new one is.
And it's Daima.
Yeah, whatever. And you have to play the Drift Rider babies, rolling diapers.
Babies.
We make our dreams come true. And no, I mean, I would certainly like to revisit like characters that I don't feel like I got right the first time, like Wynn. I wouldn't mind another crack at an uplifted bear, but I'm really excited about what we've got planned for our season 2 characters. I feel much more confident as a party. Just to kind of give a little tease, I think that's a kind of a shared feeling, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, very shared.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I'm not spoiling anything. I just said we feel good about it.
How dare you feel good?
True.
I am considering this episode to be like the last episode of the Cosmic Crit podcast, and the first 5 seasons of the show being like its own iteration, because we're changing so many things in the next series. New, starting next week, new energy, new game, new styles of play, same players. But I'm pretty happy with the body of work that we've put together. Yeah, over this first iteration of the podcast, I feel like if I were to croak tomorrow, I'd be pretty happy with all the 362 episodes that we've done. Yeah, I had a good time these last 8 years. Is there anything, because we are on the cusp of starting like a new Starfinder project, anything in the last 8 years you would have done differently with Cosmic Crit? Any advice to an 8 years younger version of yourself?
Oh boy.
Having gone through this?
I'm just going to say I would roll Sense Motive on Snacks again 1,000 times.
Oh boy.
I mean, I think we're all pretty happy with how our first season turned out. It's been no surprise. I would certainly try to. I think there's something that happens when you create a character that you feel like you get right the first time, and trying to follow that character up and almost respond to that character is kind of a mistake. You should always try to go with a character that feels like it's going to be either fun to play or a character that you really feel strongly about playing, because like I think when I was creating my season 2 character, I tried to kind of do the same creative process that when I made Raimi with, and even though I like a lot of stuff that Win became by the end of the campaign, it was kind of just Forrest Gumping through it. And I wish I had a better hold on both the class and kind of what I wanted to do with the character from the get-go in the same way that I did with Raimi. And so I feel like I always feel a big pressure anytime I make a new character. And I would advise against trying to kind of compare anything with what you made before, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I would say don't sign up to make episode art every week and then feel bad about it when you stop doing it.
Patrick, I have an honest question for you.
Yeah.
We're 8 years into this. We are 5 seasons, 1E, and done. And there have, to this point, been no real player deaths.
No, Tyler did die.
I brought him back to life, though.
Also, Tyler wanted to die. That
and also, Tyler wanted to die.
Yeah.
Tyler also died in DMRNC and then got brought back to life. So
I'm just wondering, and I this season I'm not counting because again, Tyler tried to die a lot. But have you ever pulled a punch to save a character on this show?
No, and it's just something that's developed because of the podcast. I think really, I used to use, I will admit this, and maybe my players will listen at my IRL table. I think when I first started playing Pathfinder First Edition with them, I would fudge dice is what they call it, because I did roll behind a screen, and it just was never as fun for me. It's like I'm trying to tell a story, but I'm also playing a game myself. So when we started the podcast is when I started rolling old dice really publicly, like attacks and saves and things like that. And I don't know, I find that a lot of fun. I've definitely tweaked monsters mid-fight because I might have tuned them up a little too much.
and we were rolling like absolute garbage.
Yeah, I didn't want to fight to last 10 hours, but typically the only thing that I do I will say some encounters have like added like little bad guys or environmental effects that can make things more difficult. But usually like the big bads, the monsters in the campaigns that you guys fight are only really adjusted by like 1 or 2 levels. And that's the same thing for my IRL table that we've been playing Pathfinder 2E now for a few years. And it makes it a lot easier to balance larger tables. So my IRL table for Agents of Edgewatch, which you can listen to on the Patreon a little bit, was like 5 to 6 players most of the time. And the current campaign I'm doing with my beautiful wife right now is up to 7 players at a time. And I was like, how is this going to work? And it does. It somehow doesn't make the combats much longer. It makes them a little deadlier, but for the most part it works out. So against you guys, I don't think I've really pulled any punches. I've been fine with character death as a concept. And I will say, I think it happens more in 2nd edition, just because, when you go down, you can go down really like up to 2 times in a combat, like, get knocked out in the dying condition and then wake back up, get healed back up and end the fight. But if you take a second critical hit to go down, you're very close to potential death in the 2E system. So playing Agents of Edgewatch, we had multiple character deaths. So that is something that can happen.
I'm really excited to see what 2E is like beyond like 1 or 2 levels in. I can't remember the highest. I think level 4 is the highest pre-made character I've played in 2E.
Yeah. Right. Let's wrap up this episode. Like I said, we're moving away from seasons of the show. We're going into the British series next. And part of that is I think they're going to be a little shorter. I don't think we're going to have any 6-volume APs anytime soon. So I wanted to restart our count because this really isn't going to be like a full season 6, what we're doing next. And like I said, we're doing new styles of gameplay, new adventures. So Cosmic Grid 2.0 and Starfinder 2nd edition. How excited are you guys to start up with series 1 for us playing in a matter of weeks, but for listeners, probably a few months from now to get to listen to it.
I can't wait. I can't wait for our listeners to meet our new characters and for us to get started. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we haven't recorded. We're going to do some one-on-one character creation and talk about those kind of things in our series 1. I'm so excited about those episodes, talking with you guys about what weirdos you're going to make. Miles, Drew, you guys, like I said, haven't had a full 2nd edition campaign before. Are you excited to, after 8 years, jump into a new system?
No, but also kinda, but mostly no, because I know what I know. And again, I think I've said this on other stuff. The character creation process for 2E seems like it's very similar, and if I get over myself, probably is very similar to the 1E situation. It's just I'm used to
really kind of easier.
I'm used to like, oh, I'll tick up numbers. I have numbers, and these I know all the stuff that it is numbers, but I don't know what the numbers are yet, and all of this stuff.
All those numbers. Miles, excited?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Drew here. Like, and this even comes through as like a video game RPG player. Like, I love the kind of old school turn-based RPG, and I like variations on that. Like, if I'm taking like the golden era of Final Fantasy 6 through 9, like those are all variations on a similar idea. And as you progress forward, each game does something variously different and more different as the entries go by. And there are to varying degrees of success, but now when I play an RPG, it's not at all like the kind of game that I actively want to play until Expedition 33 came out. And so there's always a little bit of like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to be into this. And it could be something really fun. And I accidentally discover a new classic for myself, like I did with the Persona series when 3 came out. Or it could be something that I know people love. I played it for many hours and have liked it a little bit of myself, but if I was going to suggest a game, that would not be on the list, like Skyrim. Just, it's not my play style in terms of like the actual like RPG elements of it. But I am excited to play something a little bit different. When you had your State of the Pod thing, I think it was last Criticon, I kind of thought we were going to be playing a couple different games before we came back to Starfinder. So I was a little more excited for that.
Well, things changed. The whole idea changed of what we're doing.
That was a little bit of the plan and then suddenly 2E Starfinder was announced, and now here we are.
Perfect timing.
So I'm excited. Honestly, and I said this at the top of the show, like just getting to play with everybody every week and having look, adults need designated hangout time, because unless we have an obligation, we may not show up. So
mandatory fun should be the name of the podcast.
It's the great final album by Weird Al. But I do love hanging out with the best people I will ever know every week. And that is the best. Like, you all are incredible. And I love, and even if sometimes I feel like I'm dragging myself kicking and screaming to a specific session, like I love playing with all of you. I love Patrick, your DMing. You bring so much creativity every week. And it's just such a blessing to get to spend, every Monday recording with you guys. I love it so much.
Yeah, some of
get-
what
That's so
Miles
well said.
says, but not all of what Miles said.
It's gonna get weirder
all of
in
what Miles
series
said.
1. It's gonna get a lot weirder. I'm super excited. Like I said, I think we had some other plans, but I'm so jazzed to get into second edition. And it was really, when they announced that second edition was going to be just Pathfinder second edition for Starfinder and like incorporate rules, I was like, oh man, it's going to be so good. Yeah, so that's going to do it for us here this week. I did want to remind everyone, again, if you're listening to this the week it comes out, which is September 1st, are we already there? Next week, like I said, is our online charity convention, CritterCon 8. It's happening Friday, September 12th through Sunday the 14th. It is an online convention where you can play Starfinder, Pathfinder online through our Discord channel, through our Warhorn account, and people have games and tables if you've wanted to try either Pathfinder or now Starfinder second edition society games. They're doing multiple big games where what they call the specials. You can do introductory games. There's plenty of those, and you can donate money for our charity partner, Doctors Without Borders. It's a great charity. I'm sure if you haven't heard of Doctors Without Borders, again, they collect money to send medical supplies and medical experts and expertise all over the world, wherever it's needed. Whoa, gosh. We don't take any money ourselves. It goes straight to the charity, but you can play in our convention next weekend and donate to basically cheat at the game, get re-rolls, get bonuses for your rolls. If you donate $30 to the charity, you can just say, I'm rolling a natural 20 on my next D20 roll, which is a lot of fun. It's a little pricey, but you got to remember every bit of this is going to charity. And then we do an online prize pool drawings, random drawings for 2 different ticket prices and a whole bunch of different physical items that you can buy, dice and dice bags, tabletop terrain, things like that. A lot of fun stuff on there. So check out our Discord, and you can spend, donate like 10 to 20 bucks and have a chance to win a fun physical prize. I'm super excited. We're working with a lot of the partners we've worked with in the past, Norse Foundry, Battle Systems. I've reached out to Legendary Pants, who is a previous Cosmic Crit dice partner with us, and they donated a ton of dice. So someone's getting like a box of dice sent to them. Yeah, lots of fun prizes. Hopefully the website will be up by the time this episode is up, and you can start donating as soon as that is live on our Discord. And yeah, we're going to play some games, I think, during CritterCon, or at the very least, I have an interview lined up with, spoiler warning, everyone, the author of Guilt of the Grave World, author of the next adventure volume that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to get all the dirt from them on how undead and Eoxian the AP is. Author Michael Bramnick we've not recorded yet. I think it might be live for CritterCon, but lots of fun stuff to happen in the coming weeks. Yeah, so that's it. That's the end of Cosmic Crit. We're come back with next week, Cosmic Crit 2.0. Guys, thank you for chatting with me this week.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
So fun. We get to chat, and I'm not actively trying to kill you in any way.
Yeah, but you're not
change.
actively trying to kill us. I think there's some passive trying to kill us happening, but
today, yeah. I'm thinking about it. I'm not actively doing it, but I'm thinking. I'm always thinking. What if there's just a very well-placed banana peel in your guys' path? The accidents happen. Banana peel accidents happen all the time, Drew.
If I had my soundboard up, I'd play some cool sound effects right there.
Swoop, 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 swoop. All right, that'll do it. So long, everyone, and we'll see you in the funny pages.
See ya.
Bye.
Listening to Cosmic Crit, the Starfinder role-playing game and adventure paths are trademarks of Paizo.
All Pathfinder and Starfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission.